Hey friends, this is Coach Tiana, and I actually am just making this video off the cuff because I had a message in my just kind of on me that I wanted to share because maybe somebody needs to hear it. I will start off by saying I am not a pastor or a preacher or a minister, and my belief system is expansive. I can find information and life lessons in just about anything. That is why I am a coach, including religious things like the Bible. And so today I'm going to a passage in the Bible to support what I'm saying, but make no mistake, I don't only receive insight, information, and wisdom from the Bible. There, you can look around you every day in your everyday life. You can look at your children. You can look anywhere and gain wisdom from what you see and insight from what you see in front of you. So I do want to put that, a disclaimer out there before anybody takes offense. I'm not a pastor. I know that. Okay, it's fine. But today I want to talk about the dangers of responding out of season. You know, the dangers of responding to a new thing in your life or a new thing you're presented with old ways. And so the passage I'm coming to you from is out of the Bible, and it is Ecclesiastes 3, a time for everything. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. Okay. Now, when you think about that passage and you think about the things that we've seen happen in our lives, my message is this: it is not going to do you any good to be killing in a healing time. It's not going to be doing you any good to embrace when you're supposed to be refraining from embracing. It's not going to be a time in your best interest for you to speak when you should be quiet, for you to be mending things when you need to just tear them down. And so the reason why I'm making this video is because don't respond to something you see out of season. I live in Michigan. Right now, it's spring in Michigan. It's clearly spring. It was not clearly spring a few weeks ago when it was snowing out of nowhere for no reason at all. But that's just Michigan's confused sometimes in many, many ways. I love my state, but Michigan is confused sometimes, especially when it comes to the weather. Now, the reason why I'm bringing up Michigan and the weather is clearly spring. We see tulips blooming. We see daffodils coming out. We see all these, beautiful flowers being planted in yards now that people can, feel good to go outside and do that. Now, what would it look like if I came out of my house with a shovel and some salt to put down on the ground, right? Because see, in winter, the correct response in winter is to get a shovel, get salt, and you put salt down on the ground. For those of you who live down south and you don't have to go through this, you put salt down on the ground so that it will keep the ice from freezing over and making the sidewalks and the driveways dangerous. So what we do in Michigan is we have our shovels, we have our snow blowers, we put on our coats, hats, and we put on our boots, and we go outside and we put salt on the ground to keep the water from freezing over and making things dangerous. We shovel the sidewalk multiple times before the end of a storm so that it doesn't pile up, and we respond to the weather as such. What if I responded to spring by bringing a shovel and a snow blower and salt to springtime? I would look crazy, right? That's what it looks like when you respond out of season. Right now, with everything that we have going on, we have the coronavirus, right, going on globally, and it is a new season that none of us have ever seen. We don't look appropriate responding to this the same way we responded to the flu. It's not the flu. We look crazy responding to what's going on by doing business as usual. It's not time for that. In your own personal situation, when you are afraid, your response might be to go and gather with friends and family, but now is not the time to do that. So you can't respond to this season of your life. And it's just a season, everybody. It's not going to last forever and ever. But in this season, respond correctly in season, because there's a time for everything. You will have time to do the things that you want to do, because just like there's a time to, what did they say here? A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. There's going to be a time to embrace. Just like right now is a time to refrain from embracing. There's going to be a time that we're going to all laugh. In some cases, some of us are going through our time to weep. Please don't come to a person who is in their weeping season with laughter. It's not appropriate. Please be mindful of what season we're all in and what season you're in, and respond in kind, because there's a time for everything. We don't want to be the ones dancing when it's time to mourn. You don't want to be the one gathering stones when it's time to scatter them. Don't be the person that kills when it's time to heal. You don't want to be the one that's tearing down when it's time to build, or building when it's time to tear down. Be mindful of your season, because the only thing it does for you and everybody around you is be confusing. Because I can just see my neighbors right now, me coming outside with a snowsuit on, shovels, going and looking around and going, putting salt on my driveway. It's confusing because everybody else knows what season it is, right? Don't be that person. Don't be that person. It's just confusion. Don't add to it. You will have much more simplicity and clarity in your life if you just acknowledge the season you're in and respond appropriately, because there's a time for everything. And like I said, you may not believe the Bible as, read the Bible. It may not be part of what your everyday practice is, but there's wisdom to be gained for just about anything that you read and come across in situations that you see. And for this one, it is so relevant to right now. You want to be the person that understands what season you're in and what your response needs to be. So don't bring old season stuff into new season situations. Make sure you respond in the way you need to. This is Coach Tiana. It was real quick because I have to go and do some chores and run some errands. But in this season, I will be wearing a mask to the grocery store because I understand what season I'm in right now. And I hope that you do also understand what season you're in right now and respond the way you need to. Bye.